Screw it. Yes, it doesn't seem like I'm fucking planning it, but you know what? I figured nobody else is here, so I'm gonna fucking do some shit, and I'm also gonna freaking film it too. Don't know how much editing I'm gonna do, how much cutting or whatever, pasting. Maybe I'm posting this raw. Who knows? But I'm gonna make myself a dinner. It's gonna be scuffed as all hell. It's gonna be simple. But I'm gonna do it, right? Alright. Here, maybe I have a WikiFeet article. Just gotta fucking clean off the surface. I'm just gonna do this anyway. But why not film it? Yeah, friggin' good surface. The workspace can dealing with dough. The more you dough, the more you know, right? Yeah. You're gonna fucking clean off this surface. Great, fucking dried and all that shit. Okay, shit, where's the flag? Fuck it. I'll make it work. Okay, that's the only how to basic friggin' part that I'm gonna even do. Just a... Cause you know what? Fuck it. Gotta wait for the shit to turn hot. Yes, I could boil it, but I'm American. We're lazy like that. On a scale of hotness, the girl's a 6. Okay, now she's ramping up. Oh. Alright, she's drop dead gorgeous. Fill up some shit with some freaking hot juice. Yeah, that's probably enough. I don't give a shit. My hand's fucking wet. Why is it? Not a fucking freezer. It's in here. Fleischmann's active dry. I'm neither active or dry. Fucking dry off. So that way only half of it's incorrect. Okay, fucking open this shit. And fucking magic. Oh my god. Call me friggin' Houdini because I fucking did it. That much. Why not? I'm gonna be a friggin' yeasty boy. Oh, the other way. Do this one for the Australians in chat. What the fuck am I doing? friggin' inner machinations of my asinine mind. Not even sure what the half the fucking words mean. Sure, that's good enough. That's what they all say. Oh, this one I could friggin' open with one hand. Oh my god, I'm not magical anymore. Sure. Friggin' raise my fucking cholesterol. Alright, is it friggin' sugar? No. I'll do a reference that I'm more familiar with. Sugar Hill Gang. The hip hop, the hippie to the hippie to the hip hop step, you want step to rock. I'm white, I can't do this. I can't do it justice. You know what? A little bit more. Hang on a minute. Let's do this one now that I'm legal age of 21. Woo, okay, let's do this. Oh shit, the fuck scooper's there. Scooper, that's not very scooper. Get in the hole. Sure, fine. Kilimanjaro. Mix the shit. Mix the shit. Think I need more water in it. More water in it will make it lit. That's how you know I'm a piece of shit. For quoting the bad generation, according to the other generations that exist out there, because everyone has to apparently fall under one generation or the other and make fun of the other ones because they're not a part of it. Can you tell I took a music thing? Because I'm fucking awesome. It's very musical. Some flower in my nose. Fucking bit wasn't even worth it. Okay, let's zoom back out. Shit. Okay. So I guess I'll throw some education in here. Did you know that pizza is also referred to as pie? The only reason for that is because it's round. The square shit doesn't even count. No, but actual education time. What I did at the first scene of this video segment, whatever the fuck I'm gonna do with this, pardon my language. No, don't fucking pardon. Don't even fucking pardon. Fuck it. So what I did was I cleaned off the fucking workspace because I'm gonna be dealing with dough. Fucking obviously. No shit, Sherlock. You always need a fucking clean workspace to deal with. If you're working with food, if you're making a fucking pizza or anything you do with food, you want to make sure your station's clean. Alright, I guess part 2 of the education. I filled up a bowl with hot water, has to be hot, or at least warm if you're in a pinch, if your pipes are frozen over or something and you can only get warm. I guess do that too, but I wouldn't recommend making pizza if you're stuck in a blizzard. Make a soup or something like that. Soup are great. Alright, so after you've filled up, I want to say a fourth of a bowl, I'm going to be making 2, so cut this in half if you're going to make 2. Actually, if you're going to make 1, rather. So that's what I'm going to do. Just kidding, that's not what I'm going to do. My mom and dad will probably kill me if I fucking broke anything in this house. Yes. Yes, you see my line of salt and flour, but that's only for the floured surface. Since I'm dealing with flour, like I said, you want a clean surface for rolling out the dough and whatever the heck else you want to do with it. So maybe about 1/4 way filled with water, right? And hot water, or as hot as you can. Then I don't measure it. Actually, I mean, I probably should, but on this Fleischmann's Active Dry, I pulled it out of the refrigerator because it says keep in the refrigerator. I can't be bothered to actually find the exact details, but what I do is I just shake it enough to the point where it covers pretty much the surface of the water. Maybe a little bit more if I'm feeling fancy and want to make it smell like yeast. If I'm doing a party, then maybe judge it up by putting something extra in there. I usually wait to do the extra stuff until when it comes to the toppings and stuff like that. But yeah, so you did see me put salt and sugar in there. I'm not a microbiologist by any stretch, but I believe that the salt is there for the flavor and making the structure a little bit different. But the sugar's there for the activation of the yeast. I believe the sugar is the food for the yeast in order to reactivate and function as it properly should. Like I said, take that with a grain of sugar, and because I'm not really a professional, I just make a lot of pizzas and I don't fucking question why any of this really works, but that's just how I think it works. Take that with a grain of sugar. So right now, oh right, you also saw me do something with that, the flour, there we go. You saw me put in a buttload of flour. That's just because I kind of generally know how much flour I like putting in it. You want it to end up being all kind of, I don't know what the word, stringy, flaky, whatever. You wouldn't think it, but whenever it comes time for later, removing this and putting it on the surface and actually kneading it and doing whatever the heck you want to do with it, it makes it a lot easier to bind those together. If I did end up with too much flour, you can always tack on a little extra bit of water magic and master the water element and become Aang or Katara or something like that. Everything changed when the Fire Nation attacked. That's right, I forgot to fucking do that. But I'm going to let it rise and wait for it. So what I will be doing is taking off a bit of this, letting the shit out of it, because you can always wring out what you don't need. Sounds like blasphemy. Yes, I know the screen's black, so I might cut that part out or whatever, but what I ended up doing, either I cut it out or you listen to me with the dark screen. I wet the paper towel and I just covered it. I'm going to let it sit. Right now it is 2:44. I could let it sit until 3. I could set it for 10 hours if I wanted to, really. But I'm not going to eat it. I'm not going to eat it at midnight. I'm going an adult with questionable life choices. Maybe I will eat it at midnight. Who knows? But for right now, we start cleaning up the shit that we don't need anymore. Or at least for now. It's hard to clean up whenever you only have one hand to do things. I know that because I've mastered it over a course of 5 years. Ever since mastering the art of... Shit, this is leaking. That's what I get. But, that joke aside. It's a bad joke anyway, I'm probably gonna cut it out. But by saying this, I'm probably gonna have to leave it in. So, speaking of leaving in, I'm going to leave this here. I will cover it though, just because, you know, dust and shit like that can still get in. This still has a little bit of flour. Of course, I did the line of flour gag earlier, so I could use a little bit of this. But this is for the surface. This will be for rolling out, folding, doing all that shit. Usually I like to keep this spoon out, just so then I could take every little bit of flour every bit of dough that I can, and do with it that way. Yeah, education-wise, that's basically it. I need to take a shit. Yeah. Just kidding. We interrupt this program to bring you a message from our sponsor. Cheese. Now this holy motherfucker likes to be fucking cheesy. Right, act now, and you can pleasure yourself. The fucking stick. But wait, there's more. There's fucking... Act now and you can fucking receive a fucking round shit. Beautiful. Just take this fucking customer's fucking testimonial for it. It's fucking cheese, isn't it? Yeah, I'll just put them here for safekeeping. Good night, cheese. I'll see you later. Okay, now do whatever shit you want for a nice 30 minutes. Actually, before I forget about it, I do need another educational bit in here. What I've done before is if there's any heels of a bread, leftover bread that's about to go bad or whatever, something like this, be freaking perfect if it's a leftover loaf from a holiday meal. But you could even put that in here too. Like with a little bit of water, you could goop it up, and that goop with some flour and the regular dough that you're about to do anyway, that would mix well together. I've done it even with crackers that were on the staler side, or just leftovers that somebody doesn't want to do, like going to Cracker Barrel and having like leftover biscuits or leftover cornbread or whatever. Believe it or not, you can put a little bit of something like a cornbread in with the other things. So as long as it all gets incorporated well, and in some cases seasoned well, which I'm going to do a little bit of something else later on in regards to seasoning. Whatever. I just wanted to put that out there. You can always use leftover breads or the heels of breads or whatever. It might look speckled or whatever, just, I'm not talking about mold, by the way. Don't use moldy bread. But it might look a little speckled because you might be using a super brown, crusty bread, right? And this stuff isn't exactly that same color. It might just be a little bit speckled in the crust, but I mean, that just adds character, doesn't it? Yeah, so you can pretty much use whatever you want in the crust. Stick to the regular nonsense if you just want a regular nonsense pizza, but if you did want to put, let's say, that pound of leftover bread that nobody seems to be attacking in your refrigerator, very well be my guest, do that. I've done it before. Similarly, I've even done mashed garlic and stuff like that in with the dough process. I tend to do less of that more and more. Very ironic, less of that more and more, but it's true. I usually just do the salt and sugar mix. So what I save the garlic for and the other seasonings, if I have other seasonings that I want to do this with, I will usually save that for the crust, which I will, in some form or the other, because my voice is, it's kind of tired right now. I might narrate it, it might be silly, like some of this video, or it might be actually educational. It depends on what I'm in the mood for. I did say 30 minutes, didn't I? I said that at like 44, so I do have, I think it's 44. I don't know, whatever. I guess I'll be back with it at 3:10 because I don't know. Help me, I don't know where I am. Lost my mind and my memories. But no, on a serious note though, it doesn't really matter what you do. Like, I will showcase in some way, comedic or serious, or no narration whatsoever, what I do with it in a little bit. So I'm gonna spend the next 12 minutes or whatever just sitting, I guess. Yeah. Alright, so now that the time is 3:50, actually just kidding, I'm in the middle of preheating right now. 435 on. I usually blaze it with 420, but at a few degrees might actually hurt, so let's do the blaze at 420. Yeah, I'm actually on time. Back in the future. The future, how I said I would be back before. But yeah, it's actually like 3:10, so not quite 4:20, but we're blazing it nonetheless. Let's see, I know that 350 is 180 in Celsius. 350 Fahrenheit is around 180 in Celsius, and that's what I know. I unfortunately don't know off the top of my mind what the conversion 420 is. Actually, I'll look it up. Why not? Around 216. Okay, 216 Celsius is 420. Blaze it in Fahrenheit to Celsius language. So, do 216 if you're going to follow along from a different part of the world. Of course, I'm not taking into consideration higher altitudes, which that does other things with cooking. So, great. So now that I'm working on this, I'll remove this. It may or may not have risen. I guess I'll look back in editing and I'll know for sure. I'll reopen this because I'll need a little bit more. And my sponsored segment, cheese, which once again, thank you to the sponsor, cheese. Flour a little bit more, surface, that's probably enough at least to get started. I actually need both hands for this one, so yeah. Okay, so it came out pretty easily, so it must not be from a conservative family, right? So now that it's actually out, we could begin friggin' massaging the beast. It usually starts out feeling a little bit weird, looking a little bit chunky, looking like it probably, like how you wouldn't expect it to look, right? But that's kind of the wonder with dough, right? You just work it until it works for you. So yeah, this part isn't really the entertaining part. It could take a short time, it could take a little bit longer. You'll notice right here, I'm not using a rolling pin. I don't believe in those, mainly because every time that I use a rolling pin, every kind that I've used before, are usually not too long, right? So it's like, you can roll it out, but it doesn't take account for the edges or whatever that's like, you know, leftover. People have used wine bottles before, people have used their hands, and that's what I'm doing. I'm using my hands. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Feel free to use a rolling pin or a wine bottle or whatever you want to hammer this out. Heck, use a hammer. See how I care. I actually kind of want to see someone prepare one with a hammer. So, usually I will... Ooh, I zoomed in. Usually I will use both hands for this, but since I'm filming, and since I don't know what I want to film, I'll just use one. I mean, unless if I just forget about filming this part and just, you know, wait until it's pretty decent. So, earlier what I said I was going to do, and, actually ended up putting away the knife because I wanted to do a bit with it, but actually it's pretty useful. So, I'm going to be making 2 pizzas. They're probably going to be the same flavor, but yes, I know, sue me, I'm not using a cutting board. I'll sequester this guy off, and I'll just be working on this one. It is therapeutic. This part, I mean, I might be still talking fast, but I don't think I'm talking as much. I mean, there's nothing really to say about this one, even though I keep on finding things to say. All it is just friggin' just pounding it out. And occasionally, reaching into the flour, and if you want to, anyway. You know, rubbing some on top of that. However, something else that I like doing is I make a game out of the flour that's on the table already, and just sometimes it flings up. course, how video magic works. None of it worked. Okay, that one actually did. But yeah, you see like a little bit more. Sometimes I'll do that just to try to conserve a little bit of resources, but overall it doesn't really matter. We are going to have some runoff at the end of the day anyway, where I will need to scrape off and throw away some of this flour, but I do try to waste as little as I possibly can. Everyone should try to waste as little as they possibly can as well. I believe that. But joking aside, I do dislike throwing away a lot of things. That's why I will eat or use whatever I possibly can to make things. Say someone doesn't like broccoli and they have a bunch of leftover broccoli from a takeout container. I'll save that. I might not use it, but you know what? If I do, I'll be glad that it was saved. And if it wasn't, it was probably going to be thrown out anyway because this person doesn't like broccoli. Right? Some actual educational bits, I guess if you wanted to call these that. I didn't wait as long as I probably should have when it comes to this. Now, when it comes to rising and letting the dough form, I did only do it for 30 minutes because I want ample time to record things, because I don't like doing things whenever other people are around. Something that I've noticed that I usually do is I do this, right? I will sequester, because this area right here is a little bit beefier than this side. So sometimes what I do is I will do this, slowly work that over to an area that needs a little bit more. So by doing this, now some of this is over here now. Another thing that I sometimes do is, if I don't like the edge, right, this area looks pretty pristine, but this kind of looks non-aesthetic. If you care about looks, just fold it in or cut it off and press it on the top or whatever. For this one, I mean, it doesn't seem that big, so I don't really think I care about the shape of it, but yeah, try to get the edges as thin as you possibly can. Of course, that also includes the middle, so try to get this whole thing as flat as you can. Obviously, without making it paper thin or whatever, but since this really isn't that educational or entertaining for that matter, all I'm doing is just pounding out dough, which, I mean, I guess could be a form of ASMR if my annoying ass voice wasn't on top of it, but I'm just gonna skip until when I got the two of them all set. I mean, this one's pretty close, but yeah, I guess, oh yeah, also, I usually like, I'm not going to cut this, well, I might cut it because the pans are on the bottom, but below that pie pan stuff are two different pizza pans. I'm going to fish those out whenever I have less flour on my hands, but that's what these will be sitting on whenever I cut back. So, alright. So two things actually happened. One, I wanted to prepare one of these pans, forgive the noise, prepare one of these pans kind of alongside with y'all. I think propping it up on the flour container will probably work. What I've been doing is I always like spraying it off over. I don't know if you can see it, but spraying over where my workspace is, just so then everything is just in one place. Alright, I don't know if any of this is in frame, but I don't care. These are small enough, you could pretty much just do this and fix the edges if you really wanted to. But yeah, that's the first thing. I pretty much already did it with that one already. That was the one that I was working on. That's the first half that I did. You'll notice the shape, it's the same one. And then this one's the one, obviously, you just saw me join back on. I do like trying to save as much as I can, but sometimes there does come to a point when you can't do that. The second thing is the 420 has been met. So, because I'm lazy and there's a time constraint, just gonna use jar sauce and some of the cheese from earlier, and obviously that cheese too. Also, shoot, perfect. Yeah. Nailed it. Frozen cheese that I forgot to thaw out earlier. I guess I'll pound it up and break it up for you. Cheese seems to be broken up enough. I want to work a little bit fast because I don't want the house to burn down, because I'm not, cooking anything at the moment, right? Some people don't like doing this, but I will reuse this spoon again and just smear whatever sauce around. And I like to leave a little bit of a crust. I forgot to actually prepare my crust thing, but I still do like to leave a little bit of crust. A little bit of sauce does go a long way, so don't worry about that. This one I hope will actually go the full intended way. Oh yeah, it should. That saucy bitch. This should work. Yeah, look at that. Like that. I'm not going to do that anymore because it's actually causing a mess in other parts. Alright. Done with that part. This one will be the weirdly designed one because it's the one that I was with you with the most. Does that make sense? Probably not, but I'll do this one kind of like a margarita, I guess. Except not exactly like a margarita. No, who am I kidding? I'm gonna cover up my mistakes. A little bit of the frozen cheese. Oh, I guess that's some ASMR, I guess. Take like a frozen chunk of cheese and just crack it in front of the camera. I'm not gonna do that because I'm not that much of a fan of that type of whatever the fuck. Okay. Gonna bring this to this one over here. Usually I would work a little bit quicker because usually I have two hands and I'm also not filming, so but this time I am filming. I also didn't prepare really everything that I usually do. Like usually I will prepare a what I call a butter bowl, which if anything I should be calling it like a crust starter kit or something like that. Put that on there too. Dirty hands, you know what? Take out the provolone and this much should be good, like maybe 4 slices or something like that. I'm doing the cheese part first because that's where I am. Something like that, sure. What I usually do is I'll take out a little bit of butter. That should be pretty perfect, actually. You cannot see how much, but a tablespoon amount, maybe. And I will go all the way over here. Yes, the oven is still preheated. I'll put it in a little bowl. And then I will take out, usually I will take out, no, that's brown gravy mix. Onion powder, no, it's back there. You cannot see, it's too dark in there. This is garlic powder. Don't do really like a lot. If you wanted, you could also go down here and get some parsley flakes for aesthetics, which, who's not a fan of aesthetics? I'll fix that later. I usually do it for 30 seconds up here. And if it's not enough liquid, add a little bit of oil to it afterwards, which I'll pull out right now just in case. I also have access to this little fella right here. Doesn't have to be rubber or plastic. I'm gonna put the oil in there after all. It doesn't have to be rubber or plastic. I just prefer it because it's easier to wash than the bristle ones. But this is my crust prepare thing that I will usually do. So I take a bit and I just brush the crust. Enough said, right? Obviously, we're not using smell-o-vision right now, but you can take my word for it, it does smell pretty nice in here. I'll move that bowl over here to work on this one a little bit easier. I normally wouldn't put like a bowl or whatever on top of the work area, however, the two of these are done. It should go without saying, but try to go and dab on everything. Try to get the whole area if you possibly can. Of course, you can skip this step if you don't want the crust to be flavored. If you're somebody like Giguk, who is not a pizza crust type of guy. Okay, I'm not British. Also, I don't want to offend any British person. The Welsh, on the other hand... Okay, so, now that we've offended all 3 people from Welsh land, in they both go. Since I have 2 different sizes of pans, I do that big one on the bottom, and the top one on, the small one on top. Time it. I always want to do like 15 or 16 or whatever, and then, fuck, I'm out of breath. You want to do 15 or 16 and then check it. Occasionally, you might want to do it for a little bit less just to make sure. Guess I'll get this crime scene mostly cleaned up. I will keep this out just for the after brushing. So, I guess. Also, take this opportunity while everything's in the oven still. Fill up the sink and do the dishes that they're basically using. I've had to clean up that stuff, but I did put away the materials that aren't anything to do with the crust stuff, and which I guess I could do a little bit right now. Yeah, I did that shit. I did that shit too. All with like 1 minute and fucking 20 seconds left. So what I'm going to do is just give a little refreshment to the liquid part of that. It's pretty well seasoned as it is anyway. And I'll also put that shit away. I decided not to re-season or whatever the fuck. So that's something I could think of. And they're both pretty set. What I'm gonna do is they're done. Turn off the oven. You put the suck in success.